Hey guys, welcome back to this YouTube channel. If it's your first time tuning in, my name is Salvador Brigman, and on this video, I'm gonna be going into a few techniques that you can use to improve your Kickstarter pitch video. If you're someone who has no idea where to get started putting together that video, if you're a little bit timid, you're a little bit nervous about putting yourself on camera, this is the exact video for you. I'm going to be going through a few different techniques, a few different tips, and all of these things have a few different goals in mind. First of all, to build trust and credibility. Building trust and credibility online is very difficult, so keep that in mind as I go through some of these strategies. The next is to peak positive emotions. You want someone to feel positively about you and about your product, and some of these techniques are going to help you to do that. And lastly, some of the actual technical video things that you can do to do both of these, to both peak your emotions, the emotions of the viewer, and also generate more trust and credibility. So let's get into the first of these techniques. The first thing I'm gonna say here is you can already see my face when I start this video. And I think that something that has been understated a lot in terms of filming online is the concept of eye contact. What does that mean when we're in a cultural situation? Well, if someone doesn't make eye contact with you, that says a lot. If I am here talking with you and I'm talking about a product, or I'm talking about an experience, and I'm not making eye contact with you, or very, short bursts of eye contact, it usually says, number one, I might not be trustworthy. Whatever I'm talking about might be a little bit sketchy. Maybe I'm not confident in it, or for some reason, I'm hiding something. The next thing that the brain takes away is that naturally that person is not confident. They feel anxious. They feel some degree of uncertainty, and they don't feel comfortable in that social situation. So when you actually look directly into the camera and you speak to it, you come across with far more trustworthiness and confidence than someone who is not looking into the camera. So when you make your pitch video, make sure that you look into the camera. Another thing that's going to affect your trustworthiness is your overall emotional vibe. And there are two things that go into that. So the first thing, very obvious. Whether or not you are smiling and you look positive. This is going to influence whether or not someone likes you. And it's going to influence how they judge you and how they judge the product. And I don't want to seem inauthentic here. I don't want to seem like you have to have this pasted on smile, that it's kind of fake, and that you're not actually a happy person. I don't want to seem that way. What I would recommend doing is to put yourself in a positive emotional state before you start filming. So one way to do that, listen to music that makes you happy. Listen to music that just ramps you up, that gives you more energy. I like to listen to EDM style music or dancing style music, salsa music. These things make me happy. They make me want to move. They give me a lot of energy, which I can then share with the viewers, and it comes across. Other things you could do, you could talk with a friend. You could call a friend up. You get in a talkative mood. You're positive. You're happy. Now that emotion will then be on camera when you do the pitch. You could even just look at funny videos or cute videos of puppies and cats and these things on YouTube to put yourself in a positive emotional state, and then that will translate when you do the pitch video. What you're noticing here too, I think, is that when you are talking about a product or an experience, people vibe off of the emotions that you're putting out, and they make decisions, and they make, or at least rationalize, choices about that product and perspectives about the product. So if I sound confident, if I sound excited, and I sound passionate, they transfer those emotions to whatever I'm talking about, be it the experience or the product. They're more likely to check it out because I believe in it, I sound passionate about it, and it's clear that I think that this is something that is good for them. If I sound, not too confident and talking about this thing, and I think it could be good for you, maybe. I don't know. I think it could be good. That person, I just did an example there. That person is going to, in their mind, rationalize, this is not something that they should pay attention to. This is not something that they should check out. Clearly, the person himself does not believe in his product, does not believe in what he's doing, and does not actually think that this is something that is going to be good for my life. If you want another example there, in a social situation, say that you just went to a concert and you're telling your friend about that experience. And if you say it in this way, yeah, I just went to this concert, it was pretty good, had a good time, I think, you should check it out, it was good, I liked it. That comes away, someone who's hearing that message is thinking, well, it doesn't really seem like he had a good time, or it doesn't really seem like that's something that I should check out. But if I came across as, oh man, dude, you gotta check out this concert. It was amazing. We were dancing, we were partying, we had such a great time. I would totally go back. You really just gotta check this out. Go and like their page on Facebook. It's great. You'll thank me later. That vibe and that energy, the person who's receiving that message is far more likely to go in their head, oh, he did have a great time. Oh, he did like this experience. I would also benefit from this experience. And that emotion also will translate. If you're talking that way about a product, the person will also have those rationalizations about that product. Another thing here would be just simply the tone of your voice. So you notice that when I was doing those examples of not being confident about the product, or in some way not owning the fact that I made it and I think it's a good solution for you, usually the volume of my voice was a lot lower. As you can see here, if I'm talking about this, just say this is an amazing product, you'll like it, I think it's great for you, it's actually a really good product. When you lower the tone of your voice, people will naturally assume that you are not confident in what you're talking about. Or they'll assume that for whatever reason, you don't believe what you're talking about. I'm not saying to shout. I'm not saying to do that. I've made that mistake in other YouTube videos, like trying to shout and get my voice out there. I'm talking about just simply projecting your voice, having no hesitancy about speaking at a normal volume and speaking in a way that people can hear you. That projects confidence. It's very clear that I believe in what I'm saying and that I think whatever I'm saying is going to be good for you as well. So pay attention to the volume of your voice also when you're making your Kickstarter pitch. Now these are a few things that you can do just organically. These are things that you can work on: your smile, your overall vibe and energy, how you're talking about the product, how you're coming across in an emotional way, describing the various features. People will vibe off of the energy that you're putting out there. They'll start to be more interested in the product. They might also like you more. That kind of stuff you can work on your own. But let's talk about some of the technical tips and things that you can improve with your actual video, so you can also convey emotions of trustworthiness, emotions of positivity, and get people excited about the product. So the very first thing that you can do to enhance this is simply use the power of music. I talked about that at the very beginning of this video. You can use music to influence your own emotional state. EDM music gets me really excited, gets me really full of energy. What if you could also do that for the viewer by overlaying music tracks or having some light background music? You can accentuate the emotion that that person feels at that very frame. I mean, you look at movies. Action scenes have a very distinct soundtrack. Love scenes have a very distinct soundtrack. Dramatic and inspirational scenes have a very distinct background soundtrack. you can use music to your advantage to evoke those emotions. There are a lot of free ways to get music online. I mean, legal free ways. YouTube itself has a bunch of free music that they offer for their creators. You can check that out. Just online in general, in SoundCloud, you can use various tracks. I think you might have to cite some of them. Other ones you don't have to cite. So look into using music to enhance your video pitch. The next thing that I'll say here, and there are a lot of ways that you can actually improve your video chops and etc. But a very quick one that a lot of people look over is lighting. So lighting here, you can look at my face here. I'm in front of a window here. There is a light here. You can see the lighting on my face. This is very straightforward lighting. I'm well lit. How will the emotion change if I change the lighting? And I'll give you an example here. I'll show it. I'll change the video so you can see the difference in lighting. This is a very different camera angle, and it's also very differently lit than previously. So you can see here, one side of my face is in shadow a bit. I'm obviously much closer to the camera. It's a bit of a different camera angle, and your emotions are going to change as these various things change. Naturally, if you're shrouded in shadow, people can't read your facial expressions as well, and it gives off almost an atmosphere of untrustworthiness, of duplicitness. That's why in some movie scenes, when you have the villain shrouded in shadow, it evokes like that spooky kind of feeling. So you can play around with lighting to create different emotional effects, and you should obviously use that to your advantage. The number one thing I see here with new creators, sometimes they'll have their lights coming from behind them because they're set up in some way, and their entire face is shrouded in shadow. There are just shadows all over their face. Their face is not very well lit, and it's the worst way to film a pitch video because it really hurts your trustworthiness and credibility. The brain is just simply wired to trust someone less if they're not well lit. This is another example of horrible lighting, and also the fact that I'm using my MacBook here, so my eyes are actually looking down on the camera. And also, as you can see, since the lighting is behind me, my face is shrouded in shadow. And this conveys untrustworthiness, and the fact that I'm looking down is just naturally not as good of a camera angle. It's harder to see some of my facial expressions, and a lot of people will also maybe look at their own image as they're talking and sort of make a presentation that way, but you're not really connecting with the viewer at all when I'm talking to my image. If I'm looking up here, it definitely improves the amount that I'm connecting with the viewer, but it's still not the greatest presentation. Another thing that you can experiment with to peak emotional states is to include B-roll footage. So B-roll footage is, you're looking at me now, and then I flash to another scene. Could be a scene of people using the product, could be a scene or another camera angle of my face. It could be something totally unrelated, but that accentuates the point. Maybe I'm talking about something inspirational, and then all of a sudden I switch to a B-roll scene of someone climbing a mountain and struggling up that mountain. That accentuates my point. It creates that emotion of excitement. It piques that emotion of inspiration, and it conveys those emotional states in a much stronger way than if I'm simply talking to a camera. So that is another way that you can evoke emotions on a more technical basis. The last thing I'll say here is there's a slew of things that you can do to improve your overall video quality. The thing that I've noticed most has made a very big impact is to invest in a nice camera. It is an investment for me. I see this as something that's going to pay dividends future videos, future product launches, etc. So if you do nothing else, I would recommend getting a high quality video camera, one that both picks up your audio and your video. I'll also link in the description of this YouTube video to the camera that I myself use for this video and other videos that I do on YouTube. I hope that you enjoyed this video talking about how to make a video pitch on Kickstarter and to improve it particularly if you're new to filming pitch videos, you're new to product launches. I think that these tips will help out. Comes back to improving your own presentation style and also the technical chops of making a great video. If you did enjoy this, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I'd also love it if you could take a second to subscribe to this channel and get more video notifications when I come out with new YouTube videos. But again, my name is Salvador Brigman. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.